This video is brought to you in collaboration with wowhead.com.
Ice Crown. A monument to our suffering.
Hello everyone. This video is going to cover some of the story that they gave us at Blizzcon 2019. That means we're going to go deep and dive into heavy spoilers. If you're not interested in what the next expansion is going to bring, then thank you very much for watching so far, and please turn off the video right now. Right then, for those that are sticking around, the next expansion is going to be about the Shadowlands, leaked quite heavily before release, with the Bolvar picture to seal the deal. A lot already knew what was going to come, but how many were actually prepared for that cinematic? We find out that Sylvanas, she's made a new friend on the other side, a friend so far described as the Jailer. Its domain is called the Maw, a swirling vortex of darkness, almost like a dark hole. It's this area in the Shadowlands where the most tainted, most irredeemable, vile spirits are sent for either punishment or to simply protect the rest of the Shadowlands. She's in cahoots with the Jailer, but it does not control her. She serves no master at all. Sylvanas has grown beyond that, which explains why she's become so incredibly powerful over the past few expansions. Some already noticed it during her duel with Saurfang that she packed quite a punch. In the past, she could not take on the Lich King by herself, an army was required, but that's no longer the case. She's been feeding this Jailer, which not only has increased her powers, it also upset the balance within the Shadowlands. Hopefully in time, we'll find out exactly when this bargain was struck. It could be when she decided to kill herself, throw herself on the top of Ice Crown and end up in Hell, this realm of eternal torment that she found herself trapped in. It could easily be this domain called the Maw, but in the short story, there was no mention of the Jailer. In the short story, we read about how she made a bargain with the Valkyr. They were the ones who got her out of that place. Another opportunity to get into deals with the Jailer, that might be when she was appointed as the War Chief. When Vol'jin died, after the event on the Broken Shore, the spirits, they whispered him a name. We now know that those spirits were not the Loa that our Shadow Hunters allied with. Something else has been messing about with events. Something else wanted Sylvanas to be the War Chief.
You must be War Chief.
And as Vol'jin uttered those words, Sylvanas could not understand why it was she to be appointed as War Chief. Clarity fell soon upon her, as from the shadows a voice started to whisper. Hi, Sylvanas! You want an ally? You kill lots of people. I give you lots of power. And so the bargain was struck. All she had to do was lead these fools into war. Send them to their deaths over a battle that they could not possibly win, but she could not possibly lose.
Vol'jin is dead. Who among you will help me avenge him?
Whispers from the shadows that might not have just only spoken to Vol'jin. Perhaps they also spoke to Sylvanas. Whatever the case, the war and the bloodshed under her guidance, it leads to the Jailer becoming more and more powerful, and in turn, the Banshee Queen has also grown stronger as well. Strong enough to outplay and overpower Bolvar the Lich King, chain him down and rip the helm of domination from his head. We can still hear the whispers trying to tempt her, but like our beloved Nathano said,
But when the time comes, there can be no hesitation.
There won't be.
with all her might at the top of Ice Crown. More than just a pretty throne, an anchor that holds this world to the next. She rips the helmet apart. She shatters the veil between our reality and the Shadowlands.
And I will set us all free.
One thing that might be fun to consider is the following question. When exactly did Ice Crown become this anchor? We know that Ner'zhul the Lich King, he was sent down to Azeroth by Kil'jaeden to weaken the world, make it ready for another invasion from the Burning Legion. Did they back then specifically pick this spot as it would amplify the Lich King's necromantic powers? Or did this spot become the anchor because of the Lich King's powers? I'm also curious as to where Bolvar got his armor and weapon upgrades from. Obviously, he's not fighting with Frostmourne. Those shards have been claimed by the Death Knights during Legion. He's rocking a badass massive hammer and new shoulder pads. Where exactly did he get these from? One of the interviews, it gives us an insight to the origin of Domination gear. We're gonna find the forge where this armor is created, where they made the helmet and Frostmourne. We're gonna learn more about how that process works and who the blacksmith is that makes it all. Makes sense. They'll Bolvar hang out with his blacksmith, ask him for some badass upgrades. Time will tell, I suppose. So Sylvanas' actions at the top of Icecrown. This is gonna take us into a brand new adventure, a brand new expansion, all about the Shadowlands. Something that probably excites me the most is this new story that they got going on, the new details that they've given us. We have of course heard about the Shadowlands before. Odin, he peered into it when he came up with a brilliant idea of creating his Valkyr, and he lost his eye in the process. You Death Knight players out there, you've gathered mounts, or you sent your followers into the Shadowlands. Rare hunters that obtained Una have gotten a glimpse of the Shadowlands. Any adventurer that simply died. You've all had a taste of the Shadowlands before, but now we're gonna deep dive into it and learn so much more. What they've given us so far is a taste of what's to come in the expansion. There are apparently infinite realms within the Shadowlands, infinite destinations, but we'll focus on a few of them initially. It all starts with the Arbiter, who makes her home in Oribos. This is an eternal, ancient city that predates memory. It stands at the core of the Shadowlands, it fuels it, which means that it draws in all manner of beings across not only the Shadowlands, but also other dimensions. Brokers and soul traders, they can be found here. This is what's going to be our sanctuary, our Dalaran, while partying in the afterlife. The Arbiter, she's the one that, in a fraction of a second, she lays the content of your soul bare. Your thoughts, your aspirations, your failures and triumphs. She can see it all, she knows it all, and depending on who you were in life, you're then sent over to your final destination. This explanation, it reminded me a whole lot of King Yemma from Dragon Ball. The guy that stamps your papers and then sends you off into the afterlife. The Arbiter, she's the one who decides in what afterlife you belong. With you, with your soul, you bring in a source called Anima. This is what sustains the Shadowlands, what powers this realm, what feeds its domain. It's all the experience that you've had in life, all that you've done in it. Great souls like Varian or Garrosh or Gul'dan, regardless of good or evil, they will bring a whole lot of anima with them, a whole lot of mana and lifeblood to fuel the Shadowlands. That's the reason why Sylvanas' plans are so dangerous, as it's upsetting the balance. The Jailer has become so powerful that not only the most vile and wicked get sent away, now it's just drawing in any and all souls that it can. This in turn then starves the rest of the Shadowlands from its much needed anima, and it causes quite a bit of trouble. They didn't go into full details, but it seems like the Maw, that is where adventure into the Shadowlands will begin. A quite mysterious realm, as nobody ever manages to escape it. Nobody, until, of course, we arrive. Some, they might be lost in the chaos. Some heroes might have to stay behind here, but we definitely get out. We get to explore the other domains within the Shadowlands. Now, seeing how we are living beings, we offer quite an advantage, quite a bit of power, which some of the factions, or covenants as they call them, they're quite interested in. In the area called Bastion, we meet up with the covenant called Kil'jaeden. The souls that find a way here, they have a natural calling to serve us in one way or another. Order and purposeful. That is what you can find here. The forebearers of the Valkyr and the Spirit Healers. Not surprising that you might have noticed that this domain, it looks quite a lot like the Halls of Valor. Souls that roam this plane, shed their past burdens, and seek virtue through meditation, through reflection. They're trying to understand themselves. Spirits like Ufra the Lightbringer, amazing paladin hero of the Alliance, that died while carrying the ashes of King Tyrannus, died to Arthas Menethil. They belong in this domain, and apparently his spirit is one that we'll run into.
Well met.
There's also Ardenweald, home of the Night Fae Covenant, an enchanted, mystical forest, somewhat of a dark mirror to the Emerald Dream. It has deep connections to the realm of nature, whereas the Emerald Dream, you could describe that as spring and summer. Ardenweald, that would be autumn and winter. It's a time of rest, it's a time of death, but also a time to prepare for rebirth. As we saw in Drasvar, life and death, there's a balance between them. Some spirits here, they make ready to be reborn. Spirits like the demigod Cenarius, who passed through here after being slain by Gromar's Hellscream way back when in Warcraft 3. The Night Fae Covenant. They believe that the Shadowlands are not the end. They're merely the beginning of something new. To me, it looks quite a lot like Shadowmoon Valley from Wars of Draenor, with some sections like the Spirits of Arak. We might even find a connection to the Drust in this zone, that whole new story with Gorok Fool that they added with Battle for Azeroth. Then Maldraxxus, that's the home to the Necrolord Covenant. They're the heart of the Shadowlands' military might. Apparently, even the Shadowlands, they need a fighting force. The souls here defend the domain from external forces and wage war with the enemies of death. You might see similarities to the forces of the Scourge. There's a reason for that. It's because they were called upon by beings like the Lich King and Kel'Thuzad. That's also why the aesthetics, it would remind many of areas like the Plaguelands or some of the Northrend areas. It's the domain where the rule survival of the fittest, it reigns supreme. You don't have to be strictly evil to end up here. It's more about the spirits that seek out power and strength, both within and without. Spirits that were relentless in life, unyielding even in the most dire situations. Spirits like, surprisingly coming out of left field, spirits like Draka. She's Thrall's mother, who died to the hands of Gul'dan's spies, while they were busy warning Orgrim Doomhammer of the corruption within the Horde. Even partied with her alternate self during Wars of Draenor. You'll probably run into her here as well. Revendreth is home to the Ventir Covenant. Apparently quite an awesome zone, as it's full of gothic spires and dark mysterious secrets. Also a rather creepy zone, where the terrors and horrors, they're lurking around every single corner. Not exactly a place where you want your soul to end up. The flawed and the prideful ones. They're the ones who end up here, atoning for their sins. Some parts of the land here, they have light piercing the area. This sears the earth, and it doesn't exactly add a nice tan to your spirits. Merely a setback. It echoes across this domain, as none other than Kil'jaeden Sunstrider, former Prince of the Blood Elves. He'll be a spirit that hangs out here.
Merely a setback.
And finally the Maw. It seemingly has no covenants, or at least none that we know of. But seeing how Sylvanas were able to enter the deal to gain more power, who knows what we might unlock in the future. This Maw is supposed to be the max level zone, the moment that they hinted at classic difficulty, like elite mobs that's spawning on routes that you just have to avoid. A terrifying, fearsome place that you need to explore. It really sounded cool. It doesn't even have an innkeeper. On paper, it sounds pretty fantastic. And in the center of the Maw, there stands Torghast, Tower of the Damned, which should offer a roguelike gameplay adventure. Supposedly, it's a tower that defies laws of reality, and it should offer quite a challenge. You could decide to go in by yourself, or ask your friends to help out. Challenge yourselves by going as far as you can. Return home with upgrades for your next adventure, which should have the halls change and then offer new challenges. On paper, this really sounds awesome. A real time sink to just find the best ways through the tower, to get the upgrades, to get the rewards. But we've had things sound awesome on paper before, like the island expeditions for example. So for now, I'll remain casually optimistic, and I can't wait to actually test it. I'm really hoping that this is going to be a zone that has some bite to it, until we gather that delicious power, until we gather that gear and we can conquer it. Conquer it, reveal the mysteries behind the jailer, behind Sylvanas' plans, and so much more. While discussing and talking about the new expansion, one thing that definitely sticks out is the potential of old characters making a return. The roster of fallen heroes and villains, it's quite extensive. Just think back to all the stories that we had so far. The realm of possibilities is nearly endless. We also discussed where certain characters might show up, like Saurfang for example. The orc that died in Mak'gora, that died in service. You'd say, okay, he ends up in Bastion, right? He's now hanging out with people like Uther and Varian. They're sipping tea, they're reflecting on life. They're having a jolly good afterlife. However, we don't know exactly when the bargain was struck with Sylvanas. We don't know when the jailer started to draw in all these souls, regardless of where they belong. Was that bargain, was that cooperation, was that going on when she killed herself after Wrath the Lich King? Well, then thinking back, a whole lot of Fallen, they've now been stuck in this realm of torment. Was it maybe closer to the start of Legion? Perhaps even when she talked to Helya? We're not exactly sure when it happens, but by the time that Saurfang goes down, yeah, it's highly likely that his spirits, he's sucked into the Maw.
So die your warrior's death, High Overlord Saurfang. It means little to me. Perhaps I will raise your broken body to serve me once more. Or perhaps you will have a chance to say hello to your son.
Now you might wonder, what allying to these covenants, what that will give to you? Well, there are cosmetic rewards in the form of armor, mounts, and cloaks, but they also give you abilities, some that are across the board for every single class, and some that are specifically designed for yours. Each covenant also has a place to hang out. It's kind of like the Order Halls, but also a little bit of the base building that we did in Suramar. Each of them also comes with their own unique storylines that we can play through, meaning that running your alts or trying out these different covenants, it will definitely be worth it as you'll see more of the story. So that's what we can expect from the Shadowlands. But of course, this is just the initial information. This is just the glimpse of what the many realms that this domain might hold. Who knows what the other sections or what other spirits they might add. Who knows what the side story is going to be, right? Like in Battle for Azeroth, we had the whole healing of the world with the old gods, with Azshara, with N'Zoth. But we also had the story threads with Sylvanas, with Vol'jin, and the Afterlife. I wonder what the side story is going to be for World of Warcraft Shadowlands. And going into this domain, a domain where anything and everything that dies, they end up here. Who knows what heroes or villains of the past you might run into? Who knows what stories might unfold? I can't wait to see it. I really can't wait to find out. Now, our introduction event, that's going to be the Rampaging Scourge. And with the destruction of the helmets, they no longer have a Lich King to keep them under control. The restless undead are truly going to be restless, and it'll become quite a problem to the world. I saw some of you commenting about Bolvar being dead and gone, already defeated, fighting with Sylvanas, but that's not exactly the case. He will still have his part to play in the next expansion, it being with one foot in our realm and one in the Shadowlands. It's definitely going to be able to offer a unique insight into what is going on. We'll even see more races entering the cursed life of the Death Knights, pick up arms as we venture into the Shadowlands. From the Maw, we go into these initial zones. We're gonna decide which covenant is best for us. And then we got 8 initial dungeons, 4 while leveling up. There's Plaguefall, Mist of Tirna's Scythe, Halls of Atonement, and the Necrotic Wake. And then 4 more at max level, called Sanguine Depths, Spires of Ascension, Theater of Pain, and the other side, which apparently going to connect it to Bun-Samedi. Not entirely surprising for those of you that have seen The Prince and the Frog, that are familiar with Bun-Samedi's background. Friends on the other side.
He's got friends on the other side.
Then the first raid, that is called Castle Nafria. Any Castlevania fans out there, you're gonna love this place. We're gonna dive deep into the catacombs, vanquish the royal quarters, to make our way into the upper reaches, and face the lord of the castle himself. We get to fight, I guess, freaking Dracula himself within the Shadowlands. Again, I can't wait to see what crazy things they come up with. During the presentation, they got really excited about this raid, and I can't wait to see it. And that's what we got from the first day of presentation. A lot of new story that they're building upon things that we heard about before, touched upon before, and is now going to be further explored. This is always the best times to be in, as the future is still very much unwritten, and the potential is definitely there. We're talking about the Shadowlands here, a realm where all things that died have come. Who knows what they might confront us with. We get to party with Bolvar again. That's definitely some bonus points right there. Not to mention that we'll finally learn more about Sylvanas' ultimate goals. We know that she wants to stay alive, and apparently she gained more power from this jailer. But what else is there? The world is her prison, and she has shattered its boundaries. What's your game plan here? Where's this all gonna go? Can't wait for more interviews to come out. Can't wait for more details to be revealed. For now though, thank you very much for watching everyone. If you're looking for more information on Blizzcon 2019, the entire convention, well, you're in luck. The people over at Wowhead, they're always hard at work and bringing you the latest news. I'll link an article in the description down below. Can highly recommend checking out their coverage. And as for me, you could decide to subscribe if you like my videos. Maybe even leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!